Welcome to the Angel Rewatch, a spoiler-free retrospective podcast on Angel. I'm William.
And I'm Derek, and this is the podcast for tomorrow, originating May 20th, 2002, written by David Greenwald. Another episode, another painfully awkward exchange between Cordelia and Groot is interrupted by Angel. As soon as Angel enters the building, Cordelia drops Groot like a 200 pounds of man-meat and rejoices in Angel's good news. Connor/Steven/Connor is coming to stay with them. Or so they think, because Connor's creating Holtz's corpse and swearing revenge on Aunt Jealous. And I'm not really going to talk about these scenes because Justine is in them, but the quick version is Connor's pissed. But he puts on a brave face, goes to Angel Investigations, and acts like they're all one big happy family. Which they kind of are. Even though Lauren is leaving to go to Las Vegas, Groot's relationship with Cordelia is effectively over, and Wesley is now literally sleeping with the enemy. Angel, though, is happy. He has his son back, his son seems to like them, and not even an attack from Wolfram Hart can bring him down. In fact, it only boosts his spirits because Connor, during the fight, protects Angel, telling Wolfram Hart, or more accurately, Linwood, to stay away from his father. Good times keep on rolling for Angel when Groot really breaks up with Cordelia. Groot tells Cordelia that she's in love with Angel, which is stupid, but whatever, because it finally breaks Cordelia out of her funk. Well, she has to set up a conversation with herself or some crap. I don't know, it's weird. Point is that Cordelia calls Angel to tell him to meet her at this cliffside because reasons. With Connor's blessing, Angel leaves and Nervous starts to prep himself for his meeting with Cordelia. Cordelia drives over in a Jeep of all vehicles and is similarly nervous and excited. She is glowing. Literally. The powers that be decide that this is the moment to tell Cordelia that she has become a higher being. Skip arrives and once again gives her a choice. Cordelia must choose between the good of all or her feelings for Angel. And you know which one she chooses. So as Cordelia literally ascends into heaven, Angel is waiting on the dark cliffside alone. But then company arrives in the form of Connor. Connor attacks Angel, knocking him off the cliff and into the waters below. After using a taser he got from God knows where, and that works for whatever reason, Angel is knocked unconscious. Connor signals a boat, piloted by Justine, and they begin to strap Angel into a metal box. Connor shows Angel that he killed Holtz, but Angel tries to tell him the truth and professes innocence. It doesn't work, though, so Angel tells Connor that he forgives him. One day Connor will learn the truth, and Angel forgives him in advance because he's all Christ-like and whatever. Then Connor and Justine drop Angel into the ocean that he taps. As Cordelia ascends and Angel descends, Fred and Gunnar in the Hyperion wondering where everyone has gone. And that's the end of the season.
Hey, we made it.
Mm-hmm. Yay!
This didn't have the... I don't know. It didn't have the wow factor of a season. It felt much more like we were just wrapping up a lot of threads, minus the end, which was it's a good way to end the season on, I guess, with all these cliffhangers, and you're like, oh, what the crap is happening? Everyone's leaving.
Well, yes. I actually thought this was a good season finale in terms of wrapping things up and setting things up. It wasn't, exciting. But then I wasn't really expecting anything real exciting. This met my expectations of what I thought it was going to be, not just because it was a rewatch, just because of how slow the previous two episodes have been. I wasn't expecting a big showdown, exciting battle sort of thing. Even though there is a drive-in shootout, basically, with a helicopter and a van and all that.
To try and just inject some action into the episode.
Because it's really just Connor being creepy as all hell. Which, I gotta be honest, I enjoyed watching Connor in this episode. Not in the way that I find him sympathetic or I think he has a personality, but like I said, I thought he was creepy as hell.
Yeah, he was creepy as hell. I liked him having to play spy, basically, and put on that face, and then every little...
When he calls Angel's dad, it really makes my skin crawl every time. And I don't understand how everyone else isn't, like, freaking out, because the way he delivers it is just, like, the most ominous dad delivery ever. But
I really enjoyed the last dad he had at the cliff when he says, "Dad, I want to show you how or you're my father. I want to show you exactly how I feel about that."
And punches him in the face.
Yeah.
No, I think I'd like Connor in this episode. I've got to be honest. Justine can go jump in the ocean with Angel. Connor should have put an anchor chain to that cage and just let Justine drown because, God, I hate her. But I was intrigued by Connor for probably the first time in ever.
I also like the fact it was small, but when Justine's first telling Connor what happened, he kind of questions things while she's lying to him, which I really liked that he wasn't completely... I mean, he's being manipulated and lied to, but he's not... Hopefully not completely stupid.
I don't think he's stupid. Yeah. I mean, he's... it's a hard thing, because... I mean, we've talked about before that Connor's a hard character to like, because, you know, he's whiny and all manner of... He's just annoying. But I did like that I bought that he would think that Angel had done this, and if we're going off the assumption that he doesn't think that Angel has a soul, which, whatever, but if we're just going off that, I like when he, it's not the most subtle line in the world, but when he's drilling Angel into his cage coffin, metal coffin thing, that he calls Angel the Prince of Lies, which... you know, is pretty on the nose, but if that's what Connor thinks Angel is, that he thinks he's doing all the right things, but he really just murdered Holtz, then he is just... If this actually happened, and Connor believes this is the truth, he is somewhat justified in what he does. If Angel is evil.
Right, sure. Even his vow... whenever I will cling to the light or whatever, and I will punish evildoers or whatever.
Yeah, his flowery Holtz language comes out.
He feels justified, so it's just the fact that he has to look creepily throughout the episode.
Well, I think it's intentional that he looks creepy because he's the bad guy.
The bad guy. Yeah, exactly.
And there is that moment which I actually like, acting-wise, where he does seem to be, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just a musical cues, but when he's dropped Angel into the ocean, he doesn't look completely satisfied.
Yeah,
kind of just looks empty.
Yeah, part of that is, I think you can definitely read, because he's still lost a father one way or the other, with Holtz still being gone, it doesn't bring him back, and the fact that Angel... It looked like whenever Angel was saying, hey, you know, I forgive you, when you find out the truth, you're going to hate yourself. Just know that I still love you. He was, like, irked by that.
Well, yeah, because even if Angel is lying to him, that's a long con to say that I still love you when you find out the real truth. There's not a whole lot that Angel can actually gain from that.
Right.
So it's evidence that Connor's in the wrong. And there's the whole thing that this... I mean, this isn't like the most... It's not like Connor's some amazing bad guy at this point, because it's a pretty frustrating story all around, and it's a pretty frustrating finale all around, as we'll get into the Cordelia and Angel stuff, but for now, I'm okay with it, because it's not like there was going to be a complete turnaround on Connor in this episode.
Right, and we still have only had him for very few episodes. So
the problem is just what we've been talking about all along, and it has really nothing to do with this episode. It is the story that they wanted to tell with Connor that we have a problem with, because the conclusion of it has to be pretty clear. what Angel says, that he's going to find out the truth, and we'll get into it in Robin's comment and feedback, but he is kind of stalled at this moment until that situation is resolved, and we know that it'll probably be resolved, and how it will be resolved.
So, do you remember how you felt about this finale on First Watch?
I'm pretty sure this is why I don't remember season 3 at all, because I feel like these last 3 episodes are pretty disappointing in terms of finale, and it's just Connor being moody. Are you asking me? I thought the Cordelia stuff was weird. I still think the Cordelia stuff is weird. But maybe it works better a little bit for me on Rewatch. I'm almost positive I watched the next episode immediately after this, so as far as I felt that Angel was going to be in the ocean for the rest of the series, I didn't think much of that either, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the show's namesake is Angel, so he's not going to be stuck on the bottom of the ocean for, we've got 2 seasons left.
Mm-hmm. This would be some fun. It'll just be Fred and Gunn just wondering what the hell's going on, and Lila and Wesley sleeping together, and just Angel chilling on the ocean every so often. The fish going by.
But on First Watch, I think a lot of the goodbyes hit me differently. Like, I don't think...
The Gru and Lorne?
Yeah. Like, the Lorne saying goodbye definitely hit me stronger, and Gru less so, because I was just annoyed by that character on First Watch.
Well, there's definitely more of a sense of finality. Certainly with Gru. And maybe with Lorne, and I will keep my mouth shut about. Because I don't think Lauren is gone, and I don't remember if he comes back, but maybe I do. And I honestly don't remember if we ever see Gru again, but if this was the last time we saw him, then I would not be surprised.
I mean, yeah, the show has a track record for people randomly popping back up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Paige is still in prison.
Right, exactly.
We haven't seen her since season 2 premiere. That's when Angel went to go visit her. Yes.
He visits her later. No, I think he only visited her once. And it was a season opener, and I'm not sure if it's 3 or 2. It doesn't matter. In any case,
it doesn't matter. It's just proving your point that people will pop up.
But I don't know. There did feel like these were goodbyes for both Gru and Lauren. They have the characters. So you're really for Lauren, you're really leaving.
Mm-hmm. And Lauren gives him a parting gift of what is obvious to everyone, and besides Cordelia, which whatever. We might as well talk about that now. Unless you want to talk more about Lauren.
No. I did enjoy Lauren's goodbye and him and Angel asking Lauren, did it have to deal with Connor?
Well, we can talk about that.
So
later.
Later? Okay, well, there you go. So with Cordelia, I was kind of annoyed that we didn't immediately jump to the scene from last night with Gru showing up.
Yes, I was as well. That apparently happened, and then they just kind of awkwardly shuffled around each other till he got her mud.
Yeah.
Which, whatever. It's still awkward and painful to watch. I really like Gru in the, whatever cushiony thing in the lobby. Just lying there.
just chilling. I am still here.
But so he breaks up with her, and we cut it in between Lauren telling Angel that Cordelia's in love with him, and Gru telling Cordelia that she's in love with Angel, because that is what we are reduced to at this moment. Because why not? There's really nothing more to say about that other than it's stupid.
Yeah, it's like the show acknowledged, like the fact that Cordelia still doesn't know or has to feign, is not accepting of it is really annoying.
It's very annoying, especially when Rue tells her and she's like, I love you, wait, I love, and then we have a couple scenes where she's just like, I love Angel? That doesn't sound right. Do I? I guess I do. If people are telling me, it must be true, because I can't sort through my own feelings, because I'm not a person who has feelings and understands them, because apparently Cordelia has just lost all kind of emotional intelligence.
Yeah, it was like she was trying to talk herself into it.
Yes,
like she didn't actually. It's not like she actually felt this way.
Mm-hmm. The people told her, and then she's like, "Well, I kind of like him, so I guess my boyfriend broke up with me, so I might as well try this other thing." Like,
if the love isn't there with Gru, which feels like it's not.
Oh, it's not.
That's one thing, right? But I mean, we've seen the chemistry between Cordelia and Angel, but when it comes down to, I actually have to think about that, and it doesn't feel like there's anything there at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which
that bothered me
exactly.
And the reason, I guess, I'm not sure why she has. I think the reason she's thinking about it has to do with the curse and the idea of if she is in love with Angel, what does that mean for their relationship and her just life? That she's in love with a vampire who can never really be with her.
It's almost like,
but what it comes across as is that she is talking herself into being in love with this guy,
right?
Which is not the intention. It can't be.
No, I think they were trying to go for a more comedic aspect, kind of like whenever Angel first thought about his feelings and had the whole
that worked for Angel because he's so repressed and Cordelia is so not. That's the thing. Like, she says whatever comes to her mind and he doesn't say anything.
Right.
That's their dynamic. So it doesn't work when you flip the script that way. And that's why it hasn't worked that Cordelia is oblivious to her feelings for Angel, because I think as much as we're saying that it's like she talks into it, I don't think we were under any kind of misconception that she was in love with Angel for this entire season.
No, and even in the episode.
Yeah.
Like, they're flirting throughout the episode. When Angel remarks that he overheard the slug tea massage thing or whatever.
Dirty joke.
Yeah, funny and a really cute moment for them. Granted, it's like, and now we're going to walk by your boyfriend. But so it's still there. It's just annoying how the episode had to handle that. I am interested to hear what you thought about the vision on Rewatch.
So what do you mean? Oh, when she sees herself, which is really when she ascends?
Yeah.
No friggin' clue. Why that? I could not tell you. I don't understand it at all. I have no opinion because it makes no sense to me, and I'm not sure why it's there other than to fill in some time. And or Cordelia trying to convince herself, and I don't understand why when she makes that, when she's talking to Skip, that astrally projects back to her in the kitchen.
I think it's.
Unless,
I mean, it's cool. There's a couple of different ways you could look at it, which I like.
Well, it's the thing that gets her to the highway. You could say that.
Right. So if this is a test, it is what will lead her to the final test or whatever.
I don't know why we need that to lead her to the test. It just adds further the feeling that she's talking to herself into loving Angel, not actually loving Angel, but...
Right, and it was whenever she has the vision, I felt really annoyed by that scene, and I also felt like she was overacting, which I'm in love with Angel, And it was like really awkward, and I was like, ugh. And of course,
on the highway when she tells Skip she's in love with Angel.
When on the highway, it works so much better.
Yeah, but so when you're saying,
so I'm saying whenever she was actually talking herself into it.
because it's weird because there's a ghost Cordelia in the house with no explanation. That's why it's weird. And I do think that on the highway, the delivery of the line, "I'm in love with Angel," works a little bit better because it's her just finally saying it, but it's also overacting.
Yeah, sure.
But completely out of context is even just more jarring than what the hell is happening.
Out of context, it felt like one of Cordelia's bad auditions. Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is like.
Which even, having the character be like, really? I am? With Angel? Oh, okay. But I felt like it was an interesting way to do it. I don't think they necessarily pulled it off
No,
100%.
I don't think they did.
But the last scene with Cordelia and Skip, I thought the emotion was actually there. Mm-hmm. Like, you can see her kind of well up a little bit. And I don't know if that's necessarily about, like, oh, we were going to have this great love, but it was like, I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Or I don't get to say goodbye.
Well, I want to talk about the test. We might as well talk about it here. If that's not a spoiler for what my favorite moment is, then I don't know what is. But okay, so we might as well just talk about it here because of the natural transition. This being the final test, which I actually really like that as an idea because the previous tests have been about the visions and all that, but they've also been about helping Angel. And it's especially in Birthday, right? Alternate Cordelia. Really the thing that gets her to accept the visions again is seeing what would happen to Angel if she never had the visions. More than like kind of anything else. That's when she is asked to be demonized because she looks back at the broken Angel and tells Skip to demonize her already. And so the final test is you choose your powers and Angel's only hurt in the crossfire. Like there's been an element of selfishness, I guess, maybe in her previous test because she's helping Angel, someone that she clearly has feelings for, and now she doesn't get to say goodbye to him. Skip doesn't even get to tell Angel. She just has to go do this higher power thing.
Which she doesn't... Ascending to a higher power sounds like a pretty permanent position.
It sounds like you don't get a lot of vacation time.
So...
How do you feel about her becoming a higher power? Just that idea.
It's for weird sci-fi fantasy or whatever, aside, I like it. Mm-hmm. It still plays to the strength that Cordelia is this wonderful person that will sacrifice a great deal to help people. Mm-hmm. So on that level, I really like it. I felt like they never, like she had just become a demon, and
yes, that's my problem.
We never really explored her powers.
No, yeah,
or anything.
This is my problem with it because you have no. It's going to take very little to convince me that Cordelia is a goddess and there's a higher power, just obviously. But there's no kind of build up to this moment because she came back, she became part demon, she went away on vacation, she comes back and she has to deal with the whole Connor situation, and she had one vision in that time, and she cured Connor of his pain or whatever glowy thing she did last week,
and the slug things,
and that too. Okay, so those are if there had been an episode all about Cordelia's part demon higher power thing, then this would work. This would be perfect, and I still really like it. But there's just a lack of build up. Like, oh, okay, now this is happening because I guess all right, it's the end of the season, so we got to do it. But do I think this was a completely earned moment? No, especially not based on the last few episodes.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I think the blueprint is there.
Yes. Really, it just takes like one episode all about the part demon. She does something really amazing that I can completely buy into this.
Right. It's even awkward having Skip say recount the 2 times she used her powers.
Yeah. Cause,
oh, power corrupts. You only used it twice and you didn't really know what you were doing.
But, congratulations, you've made it to the final round. Yeah, whatever. Okay, yes, exactly. And it does make Skip more shady, and we've already talked about Skip being shady, and I don't think you're really supposed to think in this moment that Skip's being shady. I think you're supposed to think, what a great sort of bittersweet thing that she's ascending, but she doesn't get to talk to Angel.
Right. If it's not Skip, and if it is the powers, I mean, it depends on what their concept of fate is, but the fact that she doesn't know what's going to happen to Angel, that he's going to descend into the ocean, is kind of screwed up not to share. I didn't necessarily read it as that. This definitely feels like something the powers that would...
Oh, yeah, this feels like
they
power.
They never intervened whenever Angel... all of the Darla dying stuff, and things just seemed like the powers basically have this, things are just going to play out, and they kind of fight.
Well, as we had said, they know how things are going to play out, and we don't think Angel's going to spend 2 years on the bottom of the thing, so make of that what you will. But, no, I think, I don't think there's any kind of shadiness that they don't tell her, because it's basically the same kind of decision. You choose between Angel, or you choose between your calling, which used to be the same thing, but now we've separated them, and it's your decision. And you can go with the human kind of, I want to be with someone that I love, or you go with this higher calling, you become a higher being sort of thing. It's between a human and a divine choice, and she has to make the decision about which route she wants to go to. And she chooses the divine to help more people rather than just this one person.
And again, the blueprints are there. The stakes aren't. There isn't the emotional depth to that moment that I want. It's close. It's still great, but birthdays seem to work better with very little.
Well, I think. I'm not sure if this is why you don't feel it, but for me a little bit, it's the contrivance of that they have to go meet at this one location and this whole... They're never... The reason that they're interrupted is this meeting with whatever just feels really kind of frustratingly keeping them apart even more and not a natural way. And that's really nothing new for the relationship.
That's true, and it's probably a number of things like that. Them not exploring the demon powers, it just felt like overall that they didn't like you said, they didn't earn this moment completely. Not to say that it doesn't work, and it definitely still brings out what makes Cordelia great as a character. It just didn't have the same emotional resonance as something, say, like Birthday at the end of that episode.
I agree. I don't have much more to say about this particular episode that will not be brought up in feedback. So...
yeah, I guess we can go ahead and move on into feedback.
Alright, so first up we had Robin, who said the 90s and early 2000s was filled with interesting attempts to keep will they, won't they couples apart. This is one of the more blunt. One ascends to heaven, and the other is condemned to the underworld. It's a pretty frustrating storytelling. It doesn't make me want to see them get together. It makes me irritated that the writers were contriving such a bizarre separation. Each side of the story is in itself frustrating too. The lack of investigation in Cordelia's demonic evolution leaves us feeling empty and silly. While Connor's hatred for Angel keeps his character permanently stalled. He won't grow until he learns the truth, and when he does, he will simply transfer his angst and feelings of betrayal from his biological father to his adoptive one. The choice of Watery Grave felt like Wolfram and Hart's idea. I hope that's the case because it seems far too elaborate for Connor or Justine to have come up with. This guy has been in our world for a week, and already he knows how to use an electrical drill. And how comes he doesn't have a British accent? Oh, never mind. So, thank you, Robin. Which, by the way, is a good point that neither of us has brought up. Why doesn't Connor have a British accent? But I feel like there's so many more problems with Connor besides the continuity errors. That we haven't even touched on those. Like the fact that he knows how to use an electric grill. And he seems to know what movies are. But then, Angel asked him if he wants to go see a movie, and maybe just Angel asked him to do anything, he doesn't want to do it. But he's like, no. He should be, freaking the F out when the movie happens.
Well, he grew up on a hell dimension, so I don't think that, he's probably seen some really crazy stuff.
Well, I'm just saying, the idea of a movie, Holtz and Connor would be freaking the F out if they saw a movie.
Right.
Because that's the thing, it's not just he was raised in a hell dimension. He was raised in a hell dimension by a guy from the 1700s. Which is an important point. And I know that Sajan had that crash course about what modernity is like, but still, Holtz was a 1700s guy in the modern world. I don't think he didn't have extensive knowledge on it to pass on to Connor. But Connor seems to know certain things, but doesn't know what chocolate is.
Well, I think that, we still got Holtz's education during the time that he wasn't interacting with Angel.
Mm-hmm. That crash course. That's what I had him on.
Yeah, or we can look it up in this magic box. And he had Justine to kind of help him along with this time frame stuff.
Why'd you mention her again?
Well, I bring up Justine because I'm assuming that's where Connor gets the taser in their fight. And the actual mechanics of getting a boat and everything else. I do like the Watery Grave thing in tying to the last week's episode, whenever he goes to see the ocean, and he thinks it's so empty and everything else. So I like that decision.
Well, I really like the ocean. How they use the ocean in this episode, and that I really like. I could understand why Cordelia would think this be a nice place during the daytime, but obviously Angel can't go there during the daytime, but it looks very ominous during the night. This cliffside.
Yeah, that's true.
And I sort of like that fight as well, that Connor pushes him off the cliff, and that they're fighting in the water, and there's that moment where, Angel just wants to talk to him. He's not really even trying to hurt him, and Connor just will not let up.
Right. And even then, Angel still gets the better of him. And then okay, you're calm. Just kidding. Taser. I actually like that fight scene as well, mainly because you had the waves crashing in and everything, which worked as well. I like that visually going along with the fight. Not that I think they were trying to make you read more into it. I just thought that it worked well and was cool. Continuity side from the Connor stuff, the actual not getting them together was kind of annoying, and I don't know, it's definitely not satisfying, obviously.
Well, it's not meant to be satisfying, but that's the thing. You're meant to feel frustrated that they didn't get together, but it's not and it's not because it's a rewatch. I never felt that when she says, meet me at this place, and she's not immediately at that place, that she's ever going to get to that place. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
When you set up a situation where we both have to get to this one location, and we don't immediately jump to that location, that means there's going to be a complication.
Well,
and that was my problem with it. That just it's not like this happens naturally it's like, oh, here's the reason why they're not together, because we just are trying to stall this out as much as possible, because once they get together, then we have to deal with the fact that Angel can't sleep with her, and we don't know what to do with that yet.
Well, the whole situation feels manufactured and unnatural to begin with, because we have different people telling the different partners that they actually have feelings.
Well, that on Angel's side, that does not bother me.
Sure.
Because Lauren telling Angel that Cordelia feels the same way about him, that whatever weird pronoun game that I can't do right now because I'm tired, but that doesn't bother me, because again, Angel is the perfect character for this kind of situation. But the issue is that in this season, halfway through, they established that Angel was in love with her and just left Cordelia to just flounder and just be oblivious, which is completely contradictory to her character. She doesn't understand her own emotions. But
also, when they have that phone call, how awkward that whole conversation is, which I like as a kind of realism, like...
Well, yeah.
How awkward that could actually be, two friends that finally recognize their mutual feelings for each other. But at the same time, as an audience member, it left me feeling uneasy and unsure, and like that this really wasn't meant to be or wasn't going to work.
Yes.
Which, lessens the sting of them not actually meeting on that cliffside. But I definitely remember on first watch being kind of pissed off by this finale.
I don't remember if I was angry. I just felt like, okay. So
well,
that happened.
I had the break in between, though.
Yes, so that would probably anger me, yes. I mean, I just went to all right, next episode. And then I will talk about that in October. Because then maybe I had some reactions that were more angry and more frustrated. I'm like, I'm just going to go to the next one, and then, this situation will be resolved, hopefully. And maybe it was, and maybe it wasn't, or it was resolved and I was unhappy with it. Can't talk about it right now. Got to wait a month to go into that business.
I mean, it's very blunt, but I definitely did like the imagery of Cordelia ascending and Angel descending.
And that she's dressed completely in white.
And he's dressed completely in black.
Well, he's always dressed in black. But that's nothing new.
Right, but she's dressed in white for the majority of the episode, but then, dons this dress.
This most angelic, Jesus-like looking gown with the sandals that are beige-colored. She couldn't look more like some kind of Greek goddess on the stage.
Right. So
then she slowly ascends like Mary frickin' Poppins.
I like the kind of tragic thing going on there, and I like, it gets built up a little bit by having Angel happy throughout the episode. Something that we really haven't seen.
So that is probably when this episode is the most effective for me. Is watching Angel be so happy that everything is just kind of going his way. And knowing on Rewatch that's about to come to a really violent end.
Blow up in his face.
Yes. And just because it's a Joss Whedon show, that's going to happen because that's how he works.
Right.
All right, anyway.
Is there anything?
No.
All right. So next up we have Kathleen, who says, Season 3 finale time. I feel bad for Connor being manipulated into being a tool for Holtz's revenge on Angel, but this kid needs a personality now. Finally, Cordelia knows she's in love with Angel. Too bad she still couldn't work it out for herself. Cordy, what are you doing trusting Skip? Glad to see her make a decision to take on her higher power without consulting Angel on what she should do, but bad move, Cordy. Skip might be her demon guy, but I can't believe she trusted him. How did she and the gang not spend any time researching him after she was made part demon? I was really surprised by Lauren's decision to leave. I thought he would have would have stuck around to find a way to prove to Connor that not all demons are bad. Poor Angel sunk to the bottom of the sea. Does anyone believe Connor came up with the plan to trap Angel in the box, seal it, and shut it, and dump him into the ocean? Or did we skip a scene with Justine listing off vengeful, non-killing ways for Connor to choose from? I love Fred and Gunt's couple moments at the drive-in and at the end all alone in the hotel. Wonder how long it would take them to realize everyone's gone and what it will take to get Angel and Cordy back. So thank you, Kathleen.
So you wanted to talk about Lauren leaving?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about pretty much everything else, but that's the one thing that we haven't really touched on.
This, on first watch, I don't know if I had as close of a connection with Lauren.
I know I did.
This definitely felt like a goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And we already had so many characters leaving that, I wasn't emotional because we never see any of the characters get that emotionally upset about it.
I mean, Angel gets about... That's like the one moment in this episode, besides the fact when he's singing to the bottom of the ocean, where he actually looks sad. When Lauren says that he's really leaving.
Yeah. So it was weird that, not having anyone actually believe it, and then it actually
Well, I think it's just the fact that he's going to Las Vegas, which isn't terribly far away. I think it's a goodbye, but it's not like it's a goodbye forever, we're never going to see you again. He's just going to Las Vegas.
I guess that's true, in that kind of sense. As far as a TV way of doing it, it definitely feels like you've written him off the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm glad that he did start feeling like his own character, and having his kind of screwed up emotional reaction to Connor being super anti-demon was nice, because he did, having him harken back, hey, I really love that kid. He was basically the live-in nanny. I mean, I'm glad we got confirmation that he was literally living there.
Oh, I think we knew that, didn't we?
Yeah, we knew it, but we never saw his room or anything.
I really want to see what Lauren did with his Hyperion room, because just based on his Caritas apartment, that would have been something special. But assuming he, has any money left.
Right. I'm glad they had the remarked on the fact that the club had gotten blown up 3 times.
No, I like that he leaves. It makes sense that he goes off to go to Las Vegas, and he doesn't stick around. Whether I think Lauren's really gone or not, or we'll never see Lauren again, is another thing. But I like that he's made this decision to leave at this time, and I don't feel that he's kind of betraying anything, but not proving to Connor that not all demons are bad. Because honestly, I probably wouldn't want to be around Connor either.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it also probably just why he doesn't stick around is I think he's too emotional about it.
I know. I feel slightly cheapened by that. I mean, we haven't seen Lauren be an emotional guy, because he's very much about
other people.
Mm-hmm. But that would have been such a great opportunity to, we scratch at the surface of, his real emotions.
Well, I don't think it's, as much as they talk about Cordelia and Angel, talk about it being about Connor, I do think when he says it's only a part of it why he leaves. I think it's really, he gets this opportunity in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But I also think that it does hurt him to be around Connor, because probably Lauren spent more time with Connor, or at least as much time with Connor as Angel.
Yeah.
And now Connor hates him off of his appearance, which is a bad problem for Lauren. So, yeah. I feel like my hands are particularly tied with talking about Lauren's future on the show, but
sure,
it does feel a little bit sad that we're not exploring that, or at least not getting confirmed that we will explore. Just because I feel like we've just started to really get to know him besides the host.
Yeah. That is true. And he's taken times during the season stepping in and out of the spotlight. Definitely he hasn't been used as the storytelling tool that he was, where now Angel needs to be set on his path. Here's a case of the week. But
he's still he took over Cordelia's counseling role when she was on vacation, and then he did a little bit of his own counseling with Gru.
But I felt like they've left you wanting more with the character. Like they used him enough for him not to feel lost, but I felt like,
well, he's a supporting character,
right?
And he gets more screen time than he's on a lot. But I do think that if this is the last time we see him, it is slightly disappointing, because I think we really, besides Pylea last season, I don't think we've gotten anything really about Lorne at all this season. And who he is. Maybe a little bit in Fredless when Connor talked down to him, but that's about it.
Right. So it felt like, that's very much how I feel as well. Like, those were moments where they actually piqued my interest on the character. Mm-hmm. And I would have liked to see those play out. As far as the no one researching Cordy's demon prowessness or even researching Skip, that's definitely a place where Wesley not being part of the game...
Well, no. This happens before Wesley leaves. Wesley is consumed about the Connor prophecy at this moment.
Yeah.
Because she becomes part demon. Next episode, she leaves. Also, in that episode, Wesley reads The Father Will Kill the Son. And then she's gone. Wesley does his whole thing. Then they come back. Wesley's just out of the picture. And really the problem with the whole Cordelia story and being a high power is that once she came back, it became all about Angel, which made sense for a while. But now, knowing that the season was supposed to end with her ascending to heaven, they should have done something more with it.
Yeah. They lost their window to tell that story whenever Wesley's gone.
Well, I don't think they lost the window. I think they could have still done it. It just has to be Cordelia. Cordelia needs to do something for herself, not about Angel. And she is so focused on Angel. I still think they have the books. And it's not like Wesley's the only one who can do anything.
No, I agree, but I still feel like Wes would have been that character to do that.
Yeah, it would have been the easiest way, but they just didn't tell that story, period.
Right.
And I don't think, just because Wesley left, that means that their hands were tied. I think they could have definitely done it. They just didn't. They were all about Connor. Which was fine. But now, watching the end of the season and knowing that she's going to leave, that's disappointing to me.
Even if they don't want to, explain that much about her powers, I don't know if it's a budgetary restriction or what. We only saw her use her powers twice, and I guess she had a handful.
I don't need an explanation
of her powers.
Yes, but I'm never that type of person. Just the magic works because the magic works. That's fine. I'm more than willing to suspend my disbelief. I just would like for a little bit bigger resume when Skip says you did these two things and now you get to be a higher power. I would have liked her to actually do something amazing that wasn't just Cordelia saves the day because Cordelia saves the day.
Deus Ex Cordelia.
Yeah, that's maybe she's actively involved in trying to prevent something, and then the powers, because she can't control them, which is fine, whatever, but just that she's actually trying to do something and then the powers take over, which is a little bit the slug thing, but still that's more about... The slug thing was always about Angel.
Right, and we never... It felt like they skipped a step with her because literally she suddenly had control of her powers with Connor.
No, I don't think she did.
I don't know if that was necessarily implied, but
in
her conversation with Skip, she says, I only used my powers as a nightlight at one time.
Mm-hmm. That implies she has... I didn't think that she... Because she doesn't know Connor's attacking her. She just turns around, touches him, and then starts to glow.
Right. I don't know if that was more instinct than anything else.
I read that as the power is stepping in to save her.
Were we supposed to read more into the I used it as a nightlight, I had bad dreams?
Read into what?
To the bad dreams.
What would you say they are?
I don't know if they were prophetic or anything else. Anyway, in any case.
Maybe?
I don't think so. I don't know.
It is a weird line.
It is a weird line. It's a weird joke with the nightlight thing. That's the only thing that
it's not a funny joke.
Yeah.
That's why it's a weird joke. It's just that it's not funny. Anyway, we'll move on to Joseph's voicemail now.
Okay. So next up we have a voicemail from Joseph.
Hey guys, it's Joseph with some comments on Tomorrow. First, I have to tell you how pleased I am that they've switched from talking about how smart and quirky and funny Fred is to telling us every episode that Fred eats a lot, and that eating a lot is totally awesome and we should all admire it. And I think this is really the problem with Connor. What he's missing is a prop or a quirk like Fred has. Like, for instance, maybe he came back and went to a hat store and really liked wearing funny hats. And every scene he could have a different funny hat, and then a character could announce, "Wow, that's a funny hat. You're so awesome." So I think with that way, Connor could be as much of a fan favorite as Fred. More seriously, I think they're in a bind. It would be great to sort of see Connor come to grips with what it meant to be from Kortoth, but that would take so many episodes that they would have had to have Wesley's betrayal come a lot earlier, and the timing just really doesn't work on Wesley's storyline and Connor's storyline, and as a result, Connor is just kind of a creepy, whiny kid. Otherwise, it was pretty good. I am still going to rant about the curse. I know Derek isn't that interested in the curse, and the writers aren't that interested in the curse, but the characters should be. They don't know what perfect happiness means. Maybe Wesley knows, but obviously he's not available. And the point of the curse is if Angel gets a little bit too happy, he kills everyone. So Angel having a son back in his life and realizing that Cordelia is his true love should be a little bit more than a joke. I don't know how they resolve that exactly. They're in a trap, so they ignore it, but it bugs me. Otherwise, I guess it was a fine episode. The duality of Cordelia going up and Angel going down was fine, and it was a good cliffhanger, and I was almost so into it that I watched the next episode. So, pretty good job. Except for Fred's eating. And the curse.
So, thank you, Joseph.
No, we can talk about the curse. My opinions about the curse is I don't care. Because again, going back to, it's just how when you explain magic to me, it sounds like science and I get really bored.
Start checking out. So every time Fred speaks, you start checking out as well?
Pretty much, yeah.
I like...
That's just how my brain works.
Obviously the show is still trying to keep that around, because they even make a reference in this episode with Fred poking him with a stake or whatever.
No,
though
I think Joseph's right that they're in a bind, and I think that's why we're stalling. Besides the fact that that's how TV works. You stall romantic relationships, because everybody loves that, right? But I do think they're stalling because they don't want to answer the question of how does this logistically work with this guy who can't consummate a relationship? How do we put him into a relationship?
Right, and they even comment on the fact that, when he's talking to Cordelia about they need to have the birds and the bees talk.
Mm-hmm.
That he doesn't have a great track record. But
okay, just
I feel like
wait, I have another thing to say. As much as I don't want to talk about the curse, but the other thing is, we've talked about before about we really latched on to the moment, and I think it's just even in season 1 where Wesley says,
that's what I was about to say.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know what you were going to say, but this is what I want to
read my mind.
But what I want to say about that is we've latched onto that, but I could not tell you that they would honestly remember that Wesley has this one line in season 1 about it. Because they haven't gone back to it.
Right, and they haven't, I mean, no one else was there for that moment. But I feel like
Cordelia, what do you mean no one else was there?
Was Cordelia there for that moment?
Yeah, he tells that to Cordelia. What I'm saying is the writers have this one line, he says it's about Buffy. And they can obviously go back to that, but in their time, just the show's time, that happened 2 years ago. It is one line. I would be surprised that they remember that Wesley even said that. Now, they can go back and look at it at some point. Maybe they will. But I'm just saying that we've latched onto this idea that Wesley says something, but I'm just saying from the show's perspective, they might not even remember that even happened.
Well, that's true, but they also don't bring up the curse that often either.
I'm just saying that I think they're just, they have not figured it out. It is a problem that they need to figure out.
Sure.
And I don't think they have.
And for most of the season, it doesn't ultimately matter, because you're going to have the drama that's going along. It's the fact that things are now starting to line up perfectly. Of course, they get written away from that very quickly when everything goes to hell. But we remarked on the fact when he became a father, like, wouldn't that spark a perfect happiness kind of thing? It's a different kind of love and everything else, but
what's perfect happiness?
Exactly.
We don't know what that means, and I don't think they know what that means.
Now, Connor cannot do hats. That is Willow. Willow already had hats.
And fuzzy sweaters. What could be his quirky thing? He has crazy eyes.
I mean, if he can't be eating, so he can't keep talking about weird chocolate donuts or whatever.
Okay, as much as I think what Jessica said was funny, I do like when they talk about Fred eating. I don't know why. I'm just immune to it, I guess.
I liked the movie thing because it felt like a couple moment and everything.
I've had less of a problem with the Fred fluff because it's mostly coming from Gunn, who is in love with her, and that's fine because he's in love with her. It's not just everyone talking about how wonderful she is, because really that has mostly subsided since Threadless. Right,
or it has only been Gunn commenting on the fact.
And Wesley.
Also, he seems like he would be, or Gunn would be the person that would be impressed by her eating all of the popcorn.
Yeah, because she's a stick.
Well, no one else would be like, good for you. Like, everyone else would be like, okay. Yeah. But he's like, oh, she's so cool.
Well, I think anything Fred does, Gunn thinks is so cool.
Right. Although, they have felt like they've gotten pushed to the wayside.
Yeah, we will talk about that. And I wanted, just to break down what we're going to do in the season podcast, I just want to take every character one by one and talk about them. And really, I think we can just group those two into one category.
I mean, that's what the show ultimately does. But is there anything else in Joseph's voicemail?
No, I can't think of. I think, Connor, maybe we should try out the hats. And I do think that he's right, that they just ran out of time for a lot of things.
Which seems so weird.
Which is weird because the last 2 episodes have been really slow.
I mean, even this episode felt relatively slow until the end.
Well, this episode, that kind of worked for me because this episode's all about Angel just being happy and going about a mundane existence until the knife is thrown in his back.
Yeah. Connor does stab him in the side, right? I'm not imagining that.
Nope. I did. Sure. Another Jesus thing. There you go. And then he rubs some vinegar on his lips as he sends him down. God, just Justini's face. I hate her. Anyway. Moving on. Last comment. We have Alicia. We said, so to recap, Cordelia is in higher plane, Angel's in the bottom of the ocean, Lauren is in Vegas, and Wesley has lost his mind and started sleeping with Lila. I want the old Wesley back. The good, Cordelia and Angel. I found Holtz, I didn't kill him. Maybe you're growing as a person. My track record with the whole man-woman thing isn't, I don't want to use the words tragic farce. We could go out, I would have to wear a burqa or something. Lauren saying goodbye. Arrivederci, Angel hair. He's happy, but not perfectly happy. I like Fred was holding her poplar and gently poking Angel with a stake. Angel fixing his hair when he got to the spot. Even though this isn't going to end well, I like Connor calling Angel his dad and using his real name Connor and giving his approval for Angel's relationship with Cordelia. I'm going to miss Lauren and Gru, Lauren more. Bad. Connor hugging dead, creepy-looking Holtz is creepy. I never liked Justine. Wesley and Lila, I knew they dated in Season 4, but I didn't know they slept together in this episode, and I'm looking forward to that in Season 4. So thank you, Alicia. Now we can talk about this thing that we haven't talked about at all.
The hate sex?
The hate sex, because you didn't want to say last week that they were going to have a hate sex, and I don't really remember the hate sex happening in the next episode, but it did.
I thought they've done such a good job of showing Lila.
I could watch them forever. Because I find them infinitely fascinating, their dynamic.
I like their whole scene at the bar, and her kind of talking about his state as a being of, these like soulless humans basically, and how he's just kind of losing himself. And I love that she's able to push his buttons so easily and so effortlessly.
Yes.
That there's this ease in watching them, and there's definitely, I feel like that there's a lot of sexual tension the entire time.
Well, yeah, because we cut back to them in bed, and that's like not a weird thing with like no real build up at all, honestly. Besides the just oodles of sexual tension they have in every interaction with one another.
Right.
But
I also like their hair kind of looks the same.
I didn't catch onto that. I was looking at, just talking about Cordelia Harrogate, I was really looking at the opening credits this time, and how, like, in each shot of the opening credits, she has a different hairstyle. Anyway, just, when you're talking about how Lila can push Wesley's buttons, what do you make of the fact that he seems to be pretty good at pushing hers as well? Because I really, what do you make, honestly, more, do you think it is him pushing her buttons when she says to him, I'm not one of those doe-eyed Angel Investigations girls, don't pretend this is anything more than it was, don't be thinking about me after I gone, and he says, I wasn't even thinking about you when you were here. And when her response to that.
She feels she looks hurt.
Well, she has
or not hurt, but
what do you read as that expression? Because it doesn't look happy. Right.
It's as much as, it's like him getting back at her as much as she's been...
Yeah.
I don't know, as much as she's been messing with him.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that the fact that she's already evil, that everything she does at him feels more flirty and playful, even if it is kind of screwed up. That whenever he says this, there's this visceral and that hatred that's there already, that it's so chilling and I wouldn't say damaging for the character because he's already on this dark path, but like it's a pretty dark, screwed up thing, and he's kind of an asshole.
Well, he's always been kind of an asshole. Let's be honest. Yeah, it was more like it just snuck out. Now his inner asshole has become his outer asshole, and he's just an asshole all the time.
I mean, kind of, but there was always that question of, or there was always that underlining thing that deep down he's a good guy.
Yeah, there's always a contradiction with Wesley, if we talked about before, that he's a good guy and he can do these, like, he can just be so incredibly unlikable and douchey at these moments. And now he's done away with kind of like social norms because society has abandoned him. At least the society that he knows. He has nowhere to go. So now he's just lashing out. But, going back to Lila's reaction to, I wasn't even thinking about you when you were here. I do think what you said, that when she says these things, I think she does think it's a game.
Yeah.
And when he says that, she is confronted with the reality that he is not having as much fun with this as she is.
Right.
And that kind of scares her, because it would scare me too. Because he has, like, no expression on his face, just completely dead. Don't even see you as a real person. I'm just using you.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's fascinating seeing the two of them interact. But even, like, having Wes do the angel chokehold thing, like, we don't normally get to see other characters do that, but whatever. So he's, like, fully transformed.
We've already said he's been, like, transformed for, like, weeks.
But I like having more acknowledgments of that.
Mm-hmm. I think we could say it's official now, because Lila says that your boss has a soul and you're losing yours.
Right. But we never, like, we don't get her reaction to, like...
episode is so not subtle. Anyway, what?
Yeah, we don't actually get her reaction to him. He does the choke, are you so desperate to find out, to really find out? It just cuts to them at post-coitus.
So would you say they're sexual beings? I think Lila's a sexual being. It is uncomfortable when we still see Wesley shirtless.
Is it uncomfortable?
It is. I don't see him as a sexual being.
His transformation is just really...
yeah, that's the thing. It's like a twinge of uncomfortability, but we have to just remark that it is remarkable how much he has changed since his first flailing appearance.
Or even the beginning of the season. That kind of change. And that's what's been so fascinating about this whole thing. And there's so much sexual energy between these two characters that, like, I like, even their dialogue's got the sexiness going with the hate and everything else.
Well, it's also just like, this is how Lila works. If we go back to when Angel was the object of her annoyance, and she was very kind of flirty, sexual with him, and there was the element of that Angel was never going to capitalize on that because she's evil and he can't.
Right.
And now there's someone who has really no problem. He's not going to lose his soul. He doesn't care. So it works in that way too. Again, making Wesley become Angel.
Yeah. I like them doing this because I don't think Wes has hit rock bottom yet.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? So he's still going. And
I think we're on a downward swing. We're getting there. I mean, this is close. Sleeping with the Enemy is close, but I do not think that we've gotten fully there.
Like, it's not even Sleeping with the Enemy. Even the way he's reacting to him doing these things is really aggressive and has that kind of anger. The kind of, like, we've seen sparks of this before in the past with him. That kind of darkness and anger that's underneath. But it's really fascinating seeing them dial that up.
Yeah, the reason I don't think he's at rock bottom yet is because he hasn't actually done anything that you could call bad. He hasn't locked a bunch of lawyers in a room and let them die.
Right.
He needs to have that kind of moment if he's going to complete his Season 2 Angel transformation. Which, I guess, Angels, it's the reverse, actually, probably, because Angel's rock bottom was sleeping with Darla, and the thing that set him off that was letting the lawyers die, where I get the sense that the thing that's going to send Wesley to his rock bottom is actually sleeping with Lila.
He's not there yet, but we were commenting a couple episodes ago about how whenever this first started, we couldn't, it'd be troublesome if he suddenly, walked into Wolfram and Hart the next week. Mm-hmm. Now,
I could see him in Season 4, yeah, he's working at Wolfram and Hart now. If there's a time jump, yeah. Yeah,
exactly. And that would be totally believable. He's such in a downward spiral that I'm really fascinated to know where his character is going to end up.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else in Alicia's comments? I liked... she pulled out a lot of good one-liners.
I like when Lauren gives Angel nicknames about things that have Angel in their name, like when he calls him Angel Cake. I think Angel Hair is new. I actually can't think of another example besides Angel Cakes, but I really like Angel Cakes. He's called him other things, I'm sure. I just don't remember.
I liked the I found Holt, I didn't kill him, maybe you're growing as a person. That felt like the most Joss Whedon-y joke dialogue that I've heard in a while.
I didn't like that because of Cordelia's she kind of says maybe you're growing as a person so quickly, and it just feels out of place. I didn't like that.
You didn't have the timing.
No, I didn't. The timing when Chris McCarpenter is usually excellent at the comedic timing. They're just maybe you're growing as a person. So what happened? Is that really how that line is delivered?
Yeah. All right. So favorite moment and scores.
Okay. Yep. And I've already said what mine is, and it's Cordelia. It's really actually the moment when Cordelia realizes that this is the final test. And just as I talked about before the tests have always been about Angel, where there's been an element of helping Angel in them, and this is you choose between Angel or you choose between your calling. And I like that. As much as I think they could have set up the actual giving her this choice better, I think this is a perfect end for her season. Really, the past 3 seasons, her story.
Right. For my favorite moment, I actually went with Angel getting not nailed into the coffin or whatever they're doing, putting the bars in and everything, but him telling Connor that he was forgiving him, that he loved him, that, whenever you find out about this, just don't beat yourself up, know that I still love you and everything else. I thought that moment worked really well. I liked seeing Connor's confused reaction to that and getting, I guess, Angel's reaction to, this is not going to go well.
But you did say that Angel descending with the sad face was one of the most unintentionally hilarious things that the show has done.
Yeah, when they, I tweeted, or
you sent me a
direct message on Twitter about that. Whenever they do the ascending and descending thing after that scene, which I think they cut to Gunn and Fred and then cut back to them ascending, descending.
Yes, that's how it is.
Seeing Angel just kind of sad as he slowly drifts down was unintentionally funny to me. I started cracking up laughing just seeing his kind of sad face.
I didn't, but I could understand why.
It's so over the top.
Well, yeah, the whole thing is as I said, this episode is not subtle.
No.
The more we talk about it, the more just it's hitting you over the head with a hammer, its metaphors.
Right. So scores?
Sure. That's a thing that we do. This is a thing that we do that I don't have one right now, so why don't you go?
I ended up settling for just a 65 out of 100, which is kind of disappointing, but it's disappointing for a finale. Like, you want all of those emotional arcs to...
This is a somewhat disappointing finale.
Yeah. Like, you want all those emotional arcs to have payoffs and set up new things, whatever. Like, even ending on a cliffhanger can be fine. It's just, the episode took its time, not necessarily in a great way. And they also had a lot of weirdness going on. I even remarked on the fact that they did something that they haven't done in a really long time, which was the Angel flash cuts.
They've done that. I don't think it's been a really long time. You just might have grown numb to them, but I am certain the 2 episodes we had some flash cuts.
For some reason, this one felt more blatant, but
well, I thought there was just speaking of weird cuts things when we flash back to Justine killing Holtz. Why?
Yeah.
But anyway, that has really nothing to do with what you're saying. It just reminded me.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, I feel like, mishandling of.
I would say there's some clunkiness.
Scenes. Yeah. I think that's a good word to use.
I think there's clunkiness in the Cordelia stuff, and I think there's some clunkiness in, and it's mainly the Cordelia stuff, and I just think maybe a little bit in the Connor stuff.
Even the Gru goodbye felt.
Yeah, it's weird to me that we cut in between. I never like that when it's a conversation that's happening. 2 conversations that are happening, but they're being weaved together, because I don't see how Lorne and Gru would ever say something that sounds similar enough that you could cut in between them.
Right, and I really would have loved to, like, maybe Cordelia just does stand there awkwardly and not say anything, but I really would like to have heard her say, like, responded to when he's saying, she goes, well, what can I say? And he's like, well, just say that you love me and that you love only me and that we can get through this or whatever. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to give my score now. And I think I'm just going to give it, I'm probably going to, okay. I'm going to give it a 64 for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. The end.
You had to be one less.
Well, yes, I did. The price is right, yo. $1.
$1. And if you'd like to leave us some feedback, you can do so by commenting on the post at theangelrewatch.wordpress.com.
Or you can send an email to angelrewatch@gmail.com.
Or in call our voicemail number at 206-203-3276.
You can go to the Tumblr, which is angelrewatch.tumblr.com, see all the reviews archived and the guests of whatever episode we're watching that week.
We're available on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher. While you're there, leave us a review. It really helps promote the show. You can follow me on Twitter at NerdGuyWilliam.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Tumblr at The Confortor.
And next time, we'll be doing our Season 3 discussion podcast.